The day I left the postpartum center, Miles came to pick me up. He brought my favorite chestnut cake and a divorce agreement. His face showed no trace of guilt. Chloe is coming back from abroad. So, I looked at the text of the divorce agreement. The company belongs to the husband. All other assets belong to the wife and child. Excellent. Exactly what I wanted. But I still furrowed my brow, feigning displeasure. Miles, we built this company together through years of hard work. Are you really this eager to kick me out? Miles handed me a pen. You know, this company was founded to fulfill Chloe's dream. So, except for the company, everything else can be yours. I swiftly took the pen from his hand and signed, afraid he might change his mind. Miles was a bit surprised that I didn't cry or make a scene. For years together. And you don't feel any attachment at all. I glanced at the baby in my arms, then smiled at him. I wish you and Miss Miller a long and happy life together. After leaving the postpartum center, Miles eagerly drove me to the Civil Affairs Bureau. The moment I received the divorce certificate, I saw a happiness on his face I hadn't seen in a long time. He looked down at me. I need to go home and pack my things. Okay, no problem, I replied, my voice gentle and calm. Miles looked at me. You seem different. Different how? I tilted my head, a smile playing on my lips. I thought you would make a scene, cling to you and beg you not to go. Use the baby to plead with you. I smiled at him. Hurry home and pack. Miss Miller's flight arrives tonight. Right. Don't be late. It was evening when we got home. The baby was already sleeping soundly, soothed by the nanny. Miles stared at the baby, lost in thought. Have you thought of a name for him? I looked at Miles's hypocritical act and found it amusing. His heart was clearly already at the airport. Yet here he was, playing the doting father. But I answered him calmly. Ethan, as in, one and only Ethan. Miles frowned. Ethan, he's a Hayes. I smiled at him. A Hayes. The divorce agreement clearly states that the child is mine. I paused. But you're still his father. When he's older, if you want to see him, I won't stop you. Miles sighed, a flicker of guilt finally crossing his face. Thank you, Olivia. I'll make sure to provide for his upbringing. No need. I refused him flatly. I can afford to raise him. You should go pursue your own happiness. Miles glanced at his phone. All right. Well, goodbye then. Yes, goodbye. I waved at Miles and slowly closed the door. Perfect. Finally rid of him. After Miles left, I blocked him on all platforms and quickly listed our 3 houses for sale, pricing them all about 5% below market value. Soon, all the houses had buyers. I used the money from 2 of them to buy a school district apartment outright. The rest I put in the bank to collect interest, keeping a certain amount of cash on hand for a future opportunity to start over. Until one day, I received a call from an unknown number. Is this Olivia? It's Chloe. Why would Chloe be calling me? I spoke slowly. This is she. What can I do for you? Her voice was anxious. Miles. He was in a car accident. My blood type doesn't match his. Can you come and donate blood? What a joke. It had been almost 6 months since Miles and I divorced. I heard that the day after our divorce, Miles had married Chloe, and now she was calling me for a blood transfusion. Did she think I was some kind of doormat? I'm sorry, Miss Miller, but Miles and I have no relationship anymore. You have the wrong person. The voice on the other end started to choke up. But I just got back to the country. I don't know anyone else. I only know you. Please. Save him. Just got back. Only knows me. Chloe's audacity was thicker than rusted iron. Miss Miller, you've been out of the country for a while, so you might not be familiar with our medical system. As far as I know, Miles is not. Miles and I met on a blind date. At 26, my family was pressuring me to get married, and Miles was the most eligible of all my dates. He was gentle and refined, tall and well-built, a master's graduate from a prestigious university, and a gentleman in every way. I asked him, how many relationships have you been in? He looked a bit shy and smiled. To be honest, this is my first time dating. You're first. Miles looked at my wide eyes. Is it that hard to believe? He then began to pursue me relentlessly. Miles hadn't lied to me. He just hadn't told me that he had been secretly in love with his white moonlight for years. After we got married, Miles and I started a film company from scratch. In the past few years, The young artists we signed were starting to make a name for themselves. When we were registering the company, I asked Miles what we should name it. He said, almost without thinking, let's call it Cherish Media. It wasn't until 3 years into our marriage that I found out the origin of the name. One night, he came home completely drunk. The driver had to carry him upstairs. He was barely conscious. In the 3 years we had been together, I had never seen him so drunk. He kept calling out, Chloe, Chloe, I miss you so much. Chloe, who is Chloe? I considered every possibility and prepared for the worst. All night, Miles woke up several times to vomit, and I was by his side, taking care of him. The next morning, Miles saw me asleep by his bed and gently stroked my face. Thank you for taking care of me, honey. I smiled. I heard you calling Chloe's name all night. Who is she? Miles was taken aback by my directness and sat up abruptly. After a long pause, he finally spoke. It's not what you think between Chloe and me. Then what is it? I asked him. He lit a cigarette. Chloe and I grew up together. She went abroad a few years ago. But don't worry, there was nothing between us. Disappointment washed over me from head to toe. I looked at this man I had shared a bed with for over 3 years and felt like I didn't know him at all. I sneered. So all those business trips to the UK every year were to see her. Miles looked down, silent for a long time. From that day on, Miles and I became strangers living under the same roof. But fate has a strange way of playing jokes. 2 months later, at a routine check-up, I found out I was pregnant. For the sake of the child, I thought about giving him a chance. I didn't want my child to grow up without a father. When I was 4 or 5 months pregnant, I showed him the check-up report. Miles's eyes lit up with surprise. This is huge. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Did you care? I retorted. Of course. Miles happily picked me up. You and the baby are the most important people to me. I looked at the man before me. He wasn't a good husband, but perhaps he could be a decent father. But the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. Miles found the best private hospital for me. As my due date approached, I was confined to bed, but Miles rarely visited. He always said, "You're not here, so I have to handle everything at the company. I'm too busy. I'll come see you when I have time." The day I went into labor, I almost had a complicated delivery and was in the delivery room for over 10 hours. But Miles never showed up. After giving birth, I lay weakly on the hospital bed. Miles's assistant was beside me. You did it, Olivia. Congratulations. I smiled at her. Where's Mr. Hayes? She scratched her head awkwardly. Mr. Hayes said he had an important client to pick up from the airport. He'll come see you as soon as he's done. I knew every important client of the company. I looked up at her. What important client? More important than his wife giving birth. The young assistant stammered. Mr. Hayes didn't specify. You've just given birth and you're very weak. You should get some rest. I looked at the young girl, who looked like she had just graduated from college, and didn't want to make things difficult for her. Okay. It wasn't until the 3rd day after I gave birth that I finally saw Miles. He brought a large bouquet of flowers and presented them to me. Thank you for your hard work, honey. He then leaned down and kissed my forehead. He looked at our son beside me. My son looks just like me. I looked at Miles and felt a wave of disgust. The emotions that had been brewing for so long finally erupted. Tears streamed down my face. Startling Miles. I sobbed. Miles, where have you been all these days? I was in labor for over 10 hours. I almost died on the operating table. You said I and the baby were the most important people to you. Why couldn't you be by my side? I was crying so hard I could barely speak. But I had to cry even louder. I had to put on the show for Miles. Only then would he feel even more guilty. Already weak from childbirth. My crying made my face turn pale. Miles, I can't stop you from having someone else in your heart. If you feel I'm in the way, I can stop being Mrs. Hayes. But when I need you the most, can't you give me and our child a little bit of your love? Even just a little. Miles's brow furrowed, his expression grave. I'm sorry, Olivia. I've wronged you. I turned my head and wiped my tears, then forced a smile. Don't say you're sorry. You're my husband, my child's father, and the man I love most. The words made me sick to my stomach, but they were very effective on Miles. From that day on, Miles started visiting me and the baby in the hospital frequently, acting like a good father. But whenever he came, I would cry. I would cry about how hard it had been for me, how much I had gone through to support him in building our business, how much I loved him. I knew that with his personality, he would soon get tired of hearing it and would start to miss how wonderful his white moonlight was. This would only push him one step closer to asking for a divorce. And my words were like a form of emotional manipulation. When he did ask for a divorce, he would feel more guilty and give me more compensation. But what Miles didn't know was that I was aware of every single meeting he had with his white moonlight. During those months, ever since I found out about Chloe, I had hired a private investigator. I knew every time her plane landed. Finally, after 40 consecutive days of my crying, Miles exploded. He roared at me. "Olivia, are you ever going to stop? It's the same thing every day. You're not tired of saying it. But I'm sick of hearing it. I never realized you were so difficult. Look around this hospital. Is there anyone else as unreasonable as you? You're like a shrew." Unreasonable. A shrew. I suppressed my anger and asked in a low voice, "What do you want?" Miles was silent for a long time. "Let's get a divorce. I'll bring the papers tomorrow." He turned and stormed out of the room. But what Miles didn't know is that I had already made up my mind to divorce him long ago, because he didn't have much time left to live. My thoughts snapped back to the present. I kept replaying Chloe's phone call in my mind. The doctors could handle it. Why did she call me? It had been over 6 months since our divorce. We had stayed out of each other's lives. Why was she calling me now? I put on some makeup, carefully got ready, and then called Miles's young assistant. "I heard Mr. Hayes was in a car accident. Is it serious? Which hospital is he in?" The assistant was surprised by my seemingly concerned inquiry. She paused. "At the 3rd hospital. Are you going to see him?" "Yes. Miss Miller called me to donate blood. I thought I might as well do a good deed. After all, we were married. There's still some connection." Hearing this, the other end of the line seemed to relax. "Okay, Olivia. Mr. Hayes is in room 302. Should I let him know you're coming?" "No need." I hung up. I was going to see what kind of game Chloe was playing. When I entered room 302, only Miles was there, lying quietly in bed. His head was wrapped in a bandage, but I saw no other injuries. He was staring out the window and didn't notice me come in, so I knocked lightly on the door. Miles slowly turned his head, his eyes widening when he saw me. "Olivia, what are you doing here?" I smiled gently at him. "Miss Miller called me. She said you were in a car accident and needed a blood transfusion. So I came to see." A flicker of light crossed his sad eyes, but it vanished as quickly as it appeared. "Thank you for your concern. I'm fine." "Where's Miss Miller?" "She probably went to pay the bill." "Oh, well, if you're okay, I'll be going." I turned to leave. "Where did you move to? I couldn't find you." Miles's voice came from behind me. I turned my head and smiled at him. "Why were you looking for me?" His eyes started away, avoiding my gaze. I wanted to see the baby." Telling him he could see the baby was just a tactic to make him feel guilty and bring up the divorce. And now he wants to see him. I didn't answer Miles and walked out of the room without looking back. Outside the room, Chloe was already standing by the door. I didn't know how long she had been there. This was the first time I had seen Chloe in person. She was even more beautiful than in the pictures. Her features were delicate, and she even resembled me a little. Oh, no. In Miles's eyes, it was probably me who looked like her. I had no desire to interact with her and was about to leave. But Chloe called out to me softly from behind. "Olivia, it really is you." I looked at her, so fragile and innocent looking, and suddenly understood why Miles had been so obsessed with her. When I didn't speak, she continued. "I really didn't expect you to come. Thank you, Olivia. I'm new to the city and don't know anyone. I was so panicked just now. That's why I called you. I hope I didn't disturb you." I had no patience for her act. "As long as he's okay, I'm leaving." But Chloe rushed in front of me and blocked my way. "Olivia, there's something I wanted to talk to you about. Can I have a few minutes of your time?" "Huh." I knew Chloe had a reason for calling me here. "What is it?" I forced a smile. "Well, when you and Miles divorced, he gave you all the assets, right? His company is facing some difficulties right now. And you know, he would never be able to bring himself to ask you. But could you help him? For the sake of Cherish Media, which you both built together. I looked at Chloe's face and found it amusing. So she was after my assets. And she wasn't planning on being subtle about it. Right. Miles had left me all the assets and only took the company. In his eyes, the company was the goose that laid the golden eggs, far more valuable than the assets. Before, Miles and I had a clear division of labor. He was in charge of content rights and film distribution, while I handled artist management and company finances. So he didn't know that the company required a huge amount of cash flow to operate. Without that liquid capital, the company was like a river without a source, bound to dry up. With the company in a precarious situation, Miles naturally found it difficult to maintain Chloe's extravagant lifestyle. There was no way Chloe would be happy about that. I looked at the meek Chloe before me and replied in an equally pitiful tone. You know that Miles and I built this company together. I left the company to you too. What more do you want from me? Seeing my aggrieved expression, Chloe lowered her voice even further. Olivia, Miles gave you the houses, the cars, and tens of millions in savings. We're not asking for much. Just 10 million. You can keep the rest for you and the baby. I looked at Chloe, fascinated. How could she say such things without batting an eye? I sighed at her. Miss Miller, the company was valued at 200 to 300 million when we were planning to go public. What's the little I got compared to that? I paused. I know you studied musical theater abroad. Miles once told me he started this company to help you achieve your dreams. That's why I didn't fight him for it. And just handed over the company I had worked so hard to build for 4 years. From what you're saying, is the company having problems? Chloe spoke slowly. You know, running a company requires money everywhere, even if it's just for the sake of Miles being your child's father. You should help him. Chloe then took a piece of paper from her pocket. This is the account number. You can transfer the money here. Huh. Chloe really had it all figured out, even giving me the account number. Whether that money was for the company or for her own pocket, she knew better than I did. I looked at Chloe and sighed several times. Oh, I really want to help you. But it's just bad timing. I've invested all my funds in a trust. I don't have any cash on hand right now. I then looked at Chloe apologetically. I have about 30 to 50,000 on hand. If you need it, I can lend it to you for now. No rush to pay it back. Chloe's eyes widened like saucers. Olivia. What? You must be joking. I looked at her gently. It's not that I don't want to help. I really can't right now. You see, when you asked me to come donate blood, I came immediately. If I could help, I would. Seeing that she was getting nowhere with me, Chloe's expression suddenly changed. She flipped faster than a book, her voice cold. Olivia, stop acting. If you don't want to give it, just say so. Don't be so hypocritical. Chloe really couldn't keep her composure. Her true colors were showing already. I took a business card from my bag. This is a financing agency. They invested in Cherish Media when it was just starting out. You can try talking to them. Chloe's eyes flickered as she took the card from my hand. You're really willing to help us? Of course. You don't hate me. Everyone has the right to pursue their own happiness. Miles loves you. My letting go is for the best for all 3 of us. Don't you think? I paused again. Miles doesn't look well. You should probably schedule a full physical for him. A systematic check. Up. With that, I turned and walked out of the hospital. Outside, I threw the bank card Chloe had given me into a trash can and then took out an alcohol wipe to clean my hands. Chloe asked if I hated her. How ridiculous. Was there any need to hate her? After all, the precious Miles she cherished was a dying man. Who cared? As the baby grew day by day, with the help of my mother and the nanny, I was finally able to carve out some time to rebuild my career. During this time, the artists I used to manage would occasionally complain to me in our group chat. Olivia, Cherish Media is a mess now. That new Chloe. I heard she studied musical theater abroad. She has no idea how to manage anything, but the boss listens to everything she says. The company's project funds are so tight now. We have to bow down to people just to get on a variety show. There was a company interested in investing in us, but after a few rounds of talks with Chloe, it fell through for some reason. Yeah, if this goes on, we're all going to be finished. I've already lost 2 endorsement deals. Counting the time, these artists were about to reach the end of their 5-year contracts. I said, half jokingly, half seriously. What if I start a new management company and take you with me? Are you in? In. Definitely in. Olivia. I've been waiting for this day for a long time. I smiled to myself. These kids were in the prime of their careers. Staying at Cherish Media would definitely hold them back. I named my new company Ethan Media. The news that several artists were leaving Cherish Media at the end of their contracts and simultaneously posting their goodbyes on social media quickly became a trending topic. I was in my new office, reviewing the artists' new contracts, when my phone rang. It was an unknown number, but I knew who it was. I hesitated for a long time before finally answering on the third ring. It was Chloe's voice. Olivia, do you have to be so ruthless? It's bad enough you won't help me and Miles, but now you're poaching our talent. I questioned her. What do you mean? Don't play dumb. Olivia, that financing company you introduced, I bet they were just your stooges. Right. They came in demanding original shares. Do they think I'm stupid? She was fuming. And now you've stolen all our artists. I never knew you could be so shameless. I don't know what Miles ever saw in you. I replied calmly. Miss Miller, perhaps Miles never told you, but I was the one who signed each of these artists and put in a lot of effort to cultivate them. Besides, as you know, in this industry, careers are short. They can't afford to be delayed. From what I know, Cherish Media's financial situation is not very good right now. My words only angered Chloe more. Her voice rose in pitch. It's all because Miles gave you all the money when you divorced. I smiled. That's because he was pursuing love. Such a sincere and beautiful love. It made him willing to abandon his wife and child, to give up everything. He deserved it. We have nothing more to talk about. And if we did, it wouldn't be with you. I hung up, counting the days. I wonder how Miles's health is. From the sound of it, Chloe didn't take my advice and get him a check. Up. I saw Miles again at a platform's New Year film and television project launch. Chloe was on his arm, her belly slightly rounded, a picture of pregnancy. When he saw me, Miles was about to raise his hand to greet me, but Chloe pulled his arm down. I looked at Miles. He didn't look well at all. His face was pale, his lips purplish. Although he looked normal, he seemed like a hollowed-out scarecrow. During a break, I cornered Miles at the refreshment table. Have you had a check up recently? You look very tired. Miles was a bit confused by my words. You came over just to say this. Yes. Don't worry too much about the company. Your health is important. Miles looked at me. I've just been too tired lately. That's why I don't look well. You and the baby. Are you okay? Yes. You. Before I could finish, Chloe came up from behind and interrupted me. Oh, are you two rekindling old flames? Chloe, don't talk like that. Olivia and I haven't been in contact. I looked at the Miles before me. So similar to the day he told me. It's not what you think between Chloe and me. I glanced at Chloe's belly, then smiled at her. You should take more care of your husband. Chloe noticed me looking at her belly and proudly tilted her head. My child will definitely grow up in a happy environment, unlike some children who have to be born into a single-parent family. The moment Chloe finished speaking, Miles tugged at her dress. That's enough. Stop talking. I looked at the Chloe before me and felt a little pity for her. If you don't take Miles's illness seriously soon, your child might never get to see his father. Who's the more pitiful one? I ignored Chloe and Miles and returned to my seat. The truth was, the company physical over a year ago was one I had done with Miles. The company arranged annual check, UPS for all employees, and Miles and I were no exception. That was when I found out I was pregnant. Miles was busy with a project at the time, so I picked up his report for him. The report clearly stated that there was a large shadow on his lung, suspected to be lung cancer, and it was already in the intermediate stage. Further examination and timely treatment were needed. Miles's phone was off. Pregnant. I frantically took the report and looked for him everywhere. But the private investigator told me he was with Chloe and even sent me a picture of them having a candlelight dinner. In the picture, Miles was beaming, a smile he had never shown me. After 4 years together, I had finally become a substitute for his white moonlight, Chloe. That night, I left Miles's medical report with the company's annual report in his study and sent him a text. The medical report and the company's annual report are on your desk. But Miles never touched that pile of documents. Even when he moved out, his mind was only on his Chloe. counting the days. If he didn't get treatment soon, Miles probably wouldn't survive the winter. The days flew by, and, under my management, Ethan Media quickly got on track. I thought I would have no more contact with Chloe and Miles, until Chloe appeared at my office door. She looked a bit haggard, but was still exquisitely dressed in a loose Chanel suit. When she saw me, she burst into tears. "Olivia, Miles is dying. My baby is about to lose his father," she sobbed. "Why are our lives so bitter? Chloe really should have studied acting, not musical theater." She cried until she collapsed on the floor. I slowly helped her to the sofa. "What brings you here today?" Chloe looked at me with sincere eyes. "Olivia, the doctor said Miles might not have a few months left. I was thinking of taking him to Switzerland for treatment. He loves the scenery there. At least he can be happy before he goes." She paused. "After that, we probably won't be able to manage." Cherish Media. I was thinking, since it was your and Miles's joint effort, I wanted to entrust it to you. Entrust it to me. What was she planning now? I looked at Chloe's tear-streaked face and felt a pang of pity. "Entrust it to me. You're not planning on coming back from Switzerland?" "No, I won't be coming back." I looked at Chloe. "What do you mean, not coming back?" Chloe slowly took a few stapled A4 sheets from her bag. "Olivia, your new company is doing so well. Why not just take over?" Cherish Media. I had the finance department draw up a contract. I can sell it to you at cost. I just need some living expenses for Switzerland. I instantly snapped out of my pity. She's trying to sell me a bad asset and cash out. Does she think I'm a fool? But business is business. If the price was right, taking over Cherish Media wasn't out of the question. I took the contract from Chloe and flipped through it. 50 million. I double-checked the number on the contract. Yes, 50 million. With Cherish Media's current resources and reputation, I would have to think twice even at 5 million. And Chloe was asking for 50 million. Did she take me for a sucker? 50 million. Isn't that a bit much? I said, smiling politely at Chloe. Seeing that I was willing to negotiate, Chloe leaned in closer. "Olivia, you said yourself, the company was valued at 200 to 300 million before. 50 million is nothing to you. You won't lose out by taking over." Cherish Media. Not lose out. How dare she say that? Cherish Media's current artists were all unknown, and I heard they were behind on project payments. I was going to spend 50 million to buy a pile of debt. Did she think I had been in this industry for so many years for nothing? This trick might have worked on Miles, but on me. I slowly rose from the sofa. "Miss Miller, I'm sorry, but I can't help you with this." Chloe pursed her lips. "If 50 million is too much, we can talk. How about 40 million? I had no time to waste on her. "Forget 40 million. I wouldn't take it for 4 million. Chloe's eyes widened. "Don't you want to see the company you built with your own hands be destroyed? The company and Miles. I gave them both to you, didn't I?" I smiled at Chloe. "Miss Miller, please leave, or I'll call security." Hearing me threaten to call security, Chloe became unstable. "Olivia, you're shameless. It's like pulling teeth to get any money out of you. You're obsessed with money." She went on and on. "You're so calculating. Dumping this mess of a company on Miles and taking the money and running." I took the money and ran. Miles was the one who made the decision on the asset division. I don't believe Chloe didn't know about it. Taking the company when you divorced. That was your idea, wasn't it? I looked at Chloe coldly. Chloe's voice rose. "So what if it was my idea? It's Miles's fault for being so stupid. He didn't even know what the company was worth. If he hadn't told me it was worth 500 million, would I have taken this piece of junk?" Chloe was so angry she didn't notice the man she was calling stupid standing silently behind her. Miles, his face haggard, stood behind Chloe, his eyes glazed over. I sneered at her. "Aren't you two in love?" "Love? What a joke." Chloe was trembling with anger. If that idiot Miles hadn't told me how much money that stupid company could make, would I have even looked at him? Would I have come all the way back from the UK? He's just a social climber. Chloe swayed, almost falling. Miles caught her from behind. Chloe slowly turned her head. Miles, what are you doing here? How long have you been here?" Miles's voice was low and hoarse. "A while." After a long pause, Miles finally spoke. "Let's go. Don't embarrass yourself here." I never saw Chloe or Miles again after that. The last time I heard from Miles was a phone call. He used the company's landline. The number was very familiar. I answered, "Hello." But there was a long silence on the other end. Just as I was about to hang up, a familiar voice came through. "Olivia, it's me." "I know." Miles was silent again for a long time. "I'm sorry." "What's there to be sorry about?" I replied. The past was the past for me. I was always one to be able to pick up and let go. Miles sighed. "Chloe had an abortion and went back to the UK. She won't bother you anymore." "Oh," I said, then paused. "What did you call me for today?" Miles's voice on the other end was very quiet, but his nose was stuffy, as if he had just been crying. "Olivia, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I had a chance to be a good husband, a good father, to do the work I was good at and loved. I could have been so happy, but I didn't appreciate it. I was bewitched. And now look at me. I regret it." When I didn't speak, he continued. "Olivia, I'm dying. I don't know if you believe me, but during my chemotherapy, all I could think about was you. You, staying up late with me at work. You, taking care of me all night when I was sick." I impatiently cut him off. "What's the point of saying all this now?" Miles spoke cautiously. "Olivia, before I die, can I see you and the baby one more time? I miss you so much." He started to cry softly. "I don't think that's necessary. If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. I have a meeting soon." I hung up. My heart felt like it was being squeezed. And it hurt. Miles and I had had a beautiful past, but I couldn't tolerate being just a substitute for his white moonlight in his heart. So, I had to stop loving him. I had to give him back to his white moonlight. After Miles died, he left me a letter and the remaining $5 million from the sale of Cherish Media. I didn't open the letter. I donated the $5 million to a charity organization and established a foundation in his name. I think that was the greatest dignity I could preserve for him.